Hey guys, what is up? It is your friendly neighborhood Ooze here, back again with another Isaac Breaking Run. And this time we're gonna finish up our, I don't know, I guess this is just like a week of not resetting at the beginning, and we're gonna do Isaac now. We've made it all the way to Isaac. We've done everybody but Isaac in the Lost, and I'm not feeling the Lost right now. So we're gonna go with Isaac. There's the seed, and let's just get into it. Maggie's bow is not bad. I'm gonna re-roll though, and Capricorn is quite a bit better, so I'm glad I re-rolled that. So something great happened. I'm recording this, so normally I just record one a day, but this one I'm recording in the same, technically it's the next day, but the same conscious cycle that I'm in. So it's like the same day for me, is basically what I mean. And in between the last episode and this one, something great, or, you know, the most awful thing ever happened. Our dogs were sprayed by skunks, which it's not that I'm not used to skunk smell, right? I've had dogs all my life. I'm used to it. Right? Dog gets sprayed by a skunk. Oh, leave him outside for the day. Clean him up with whatever current thing that everybody's saying gets rid of skunk smell. Oh, it didn't do anything, whatever. You know, and then the next day it's pretty much gone. But this time, it would, like, okay, they came in the house after being outside. You know, they got sprayed, we didn't know about it. Let them inside. And, like, anywhere in the house, right? They didn't even go anywhere. The door got opened, they stepped inside, and no matter where you were in the house, you were just like, somebody burning garlic? Is that what I smell? Is somebody burning garlic? Is that what's happening right now? It was so just pungent. Like, I can still smell it, by the way. It's been about 6 hours. They've been outside in the backyard like the whole day since we realized they got sprayed. So it's been 6 hours. Windows open, you know, fans blowing. Used various air freshener products that we had lying around the house, just constantly, and I still smell it. It's just everywhere. There's no getting rid of it. And, like, I'm in a location where the dogs didn't even go, right? And I still smell it as if, like, they just came inside. It is awful. It's honestly the worst smell I've ever had to deal with. And again, like, it's not that I've never dealt with skunk smell from pets before. Not that at all. Quite the contrary. It's just that this time, above all other times, it is just a completely different, terrifying monster. And oh my god. It's unreal. It's just, literally, like, so my dad let the dogs in, and I was like, do you smell that? And he's like, yeah, I think one of our dogs got sprayed by a skunk. And I'm like, oh, they definitely did. No, they did. Yeah, okay. That's disgusting. And then my mom was like talking about how it stunk in her room, and like she was like, are you cooking garlic? And I'm like, no, the dogs got sprayed by a skunk or something. And she's like, it smells like garlic. And I'm like, it smells like garlic. It absolutely smells like garlic. Why does it smell like garlic? Because in my memory of all the times our skunks got sprayed, it was a very aggressive smell, but it was never like burnt garlic or anything like that. And I can honestly say it smells exactly like burnt garlic. Exactly. Which is bizarre. Because again, it's never seemed like skunk smelled anything even remotely similar to garlic, but like there is no mistaking it. It's just, it's weird, man. It's just weird. I don't get it. I also don't understand why dogs always get sprayed by skunks. Like, what is it in the dog brain that's like, I'm gonna piss off a skunk today? I don't get it. It's just a thing that dogs do, I guess. I don't know. Again, I've had dogs all my life, but this is still a mystery to me. Why? What is that? Okay, alright. You know what? Fuck you, game. Fuck you, video game. I wanted a spirit art to be a little bit on the safe side. You took away the only spirit art I had, and you didn't even give me one in return. All I can say is fuck you. That's all I got. Sorry. Wow. I don't really like getting a lot of familiars, so I'm just gonna leave that there. I'm not sure if I'm gonna re-roll it yet. Oh, no. Okay. Whew. Not sure if I'm actually gonna re-roll it yet, but I see no real benefit to picking it up right now aside from it'll help in the rooms. But I don't think I need help in the rooms right now. My damage is really good. My tier rate is solid, you know, all this stuff. Might have helped in this room, but I think I'll be okay. I think I'll live. This is one of those just nightmare rooms that you never want to deal with. Speaking of nightmares, by the way, I had what I would consider a nightmare last night, but not really a nightmare. I mean, literally not a nightmare because it didn't wake me up. That's what a nightmare does, is it wakes you up. A night terror keeps you asleep. Anyway, so it wasn't literally a nightmare, and in fact, I didn't even feel scared. It's just after the fact. After I woke up, I was like, that was terrifying. So if I've talked about him before, but if you don't know who H.R. Giger was, he's dead, I think. Pretty sure he's dead. He's definitely dead. Most incredible man when it came to just making a convincing monster, right? And it wasn't just monsters, it was also a variety of other things. Like he did, he did like structures and things like that. Just anything that you could just fit into a monster movie, basically, is something that he worked on. Most famously known for the Alien movies, for the original concept of the xenomorph, as well as most of the alien architecture that is featured throughout every single movie. Incredible stuff. My dream was so bizarre, and the only thing I could think about was the fact that it just made me think of H.R. Giger. Like, I don't know, as dreams tend to be, after the dream happens, right? After you wake up and you're attempting to recall the dream, you just immediately lose information about the dream, right? It's very rare that you remember even, like, I'd say like 50% of a dream. Even that's incredibly rare. I normally remember like one key detail that when taken out of the context of the dream sounds absurd, right? And that's kind of what happened with me here. But it was just so frightening. Basically, I don't remember the setup, I don't remember the context or anything, but there was some sort of monster, and then the monster's master was like talking to it. And talking about what kind of a job it did on some variety of assignment, I guess. Again, not really quite sure what the context was at this point. But it made sense in the dream. And then, and this was like a third person thing. I wasn't like in it. I wasn't a character within it, right? It was an observational sort of thing. Wow. Yeah, well, yes. And then yes, and I don't know if I want to re-roll this. I guess I could. Yeah, fuck it. Sure. No, that's real good. So I wasn't a participant. I wasn't an actor in the dream. I was an observer. It was like I was watching a movie, which made it even more unique, I would say. And so the monster itself was just very ambiguous. Not a lot of real detail to it. It was just, you know, it was like a subconscious, it's a monster, rather than like a actual visceral sort of looking real thing, right? It wasn't like a monster you expect in a movie. It was just more of like the idea of a monster. But I remember very vividly what happened was the boss, I guess, in this context, was upset with the monster because it didn't do its job right. And then what it did was it reached out with like fucking face tendrils like it was the thing fucking 2011, whatever. Which again is an alright movie. But you know, tendrils similar to the thing, right? Those sort of things just like shoot out of like its mouth, right? It's like this thing's got like a Cthulhu-esque sort of tentacle monster face, and then a bunch of really tiny tendrils just spray out of it in like a solid line. Then they connect to the monster on the monster's mouth, which then like fucks up the structure of the monster's mouth, and like it almost turns it into like a liquid, right? Like it starts dripping, like the flesh of the monster's chin starts like dripping off, and it's really, really grotesque, right? And and again, like, you know, all I really remember is this one very specific detail, because as I was waking up from the dream, I was like, what the fuck was that? But it was very grotesque, and then after that, and this is where it goes off the rails, right? This is the part where it just stops making any rational sense at all. Hi, Ozzy. Alright, my cat just hopped on my lap. I hope he doesn't break something. That'd be real bad. No, Ozzy, I'm gonna need you to get down, bud, because you're gonna knock over my mic, and it's gonna make crazy alien noises and go in everybody's fucking ears, and nobody wants to hear that. Ugh. Alright. Alright, I don't bounce. This sucks. But after like its chin gets like, it's essentially like it got bit by like a brown recluse, except it's like, you know, 500 times faster or whatever, faster acting than a brown recluse bite. So it's like chin just like falls off, and then underneath its chin there's like a weird alien-esque, alien being in reference to H.R. Geiger alien design, jaw just sitting underneath it, right? Underneath its horrible chin flesh that rotted off of its face. And that's like the structure underneath, and then it like starts drooling, and its drool gets mixed in with like this watery looking flesh. And then it like looks at the dude. I guess that was it, like captured or something, and then the boss was like upset with like, oh, he's still alive or something like that. Not sure. The other guy looked terrified though. The guy who wasn't the boss, wasn't the monster, looked terrified. And then it looked at him and made like the alien-esque like, right, like a cat hissing, except a lot more terrifying. And then again, this is where it goes off the rails, and all rational thought goes out the window. As if any of that was rational. It could have been, I mean, that could have been a great setup for like a monster movie. And then my dream continues, and now, for some reason, like this inner-dream, sorry, not interdream, but inner dream movie, as it were, because I'm the observer, I'm not a character, cuts to the face of the dude who's terrified, right? And that's fine and dandy, and he's looking terrified. And then this tiny little alien, right? Like the size of like a human hand, just spread out, jumps on the guy's face like a face hugger. And then I remember to myself, that's funny, right? And then and then it moves on, right? But I'm like, that's funny. And then it like cuts back to like the wide shot or whatever. And then the tiny little alien falls off the guy's face, and then like falls to the ground, and then like just grows much larger back to like what I visually saw after the jaw thing fell off. And like that was pretty much it. That was like the more or less the ending. I don't really remember much past that. Oh no, there is one thing. That's right. The guy that was with him at that point, for some reason, was like part skeletal, like the Forsaken from World of Warcraft, you know? How they're like zombies, basically. If you've never seen the Undead, or also known as the Forsaken from the Warcraft universe, they're very like, they're essentially like corpses that are not necessarily freshly dead, but they haven't been rotting for long enough to be just skeletons, right? So they're missing flesh all over, so you can see bones peeking through and stuff like that, but there's still flesh to them. And that's kind of what this guy looked like, but he was missing a load of flesh down by the middle of the torso, right? The vertical middle of the torso. And so you could like see his spine, and then this now big bulky alien thing picks him up and like snaps the visual spine, you know, the spine that you can see peeking through this guy's some flesh, just snaps it, throws the guy away, and then the dude's top half and bottom half are separated on like other sides of the room from each other, and then the top half starts like talking and shit and like freaking the fuck out, like, oh, you snapped me in half. And it made me think of like the scene from Aliens where the alien queen snaps Bishop in half, twists him in half rather, and Bishop, right? That was yeah, it was Bishop. Takes Bishop and just, you know, first stabs him and then just twists him like you're popping the lid of a jar off or something. And then, you know, his upper half is the part that, of course, the main characters pay attention to, even though technically he's a synthetic human, and no single part of him is more relevant than any other, and he's still alive, even though he's twisted in half. It's a weird scene, but that's what I thought of, right? So this weird, like, fever dream, right? This at this point, you could maybe consider it like a fever dream, but it was so bizarre, and every bit of, like, visualization within the dream just screamed like H.R. Geiger, Aliens, whatever, right? It was just so clearly, my subconscious was so clearly inspired by H.R. Geiger, you know? It was such a just bizarre experience. I don't know. I can't describe it other than it was bizarre as fuck. Alright, so we know about 2 different health up pills, which means one's actually a health down. Which is fine, because we know about it. But I don't know, I can't figure out my dreams. There's no rhyme or reason ever. I mean, I'm sure there would be like a meta rhyme or reason if I kept track of every, you know, last stream of the night that I had or whatever, because you don't remember, at least not often, you don't remember dreams that you had, because technically our brains show the activity of dreaming more than in one single period in the night, right? So theoretically, we're having loads of dreams every night, but we only remember presumably the final one before awakening, if even that. Because even in that one, we're probably going to forget like 99% of the dream and just remember little tiny tidbits. Yeah, I don't know. It almost, the dream almost like inspired me, you know, to try and turn it into a thing, right? On the health down, to try and turn my dream. Well, now I can conclude the donation didn't give us any luck up. I don't need to go to extra rooms actually. But it almost made me want to turn the dream I had into like something, you know? It was one of those sort of things where it just felt like I want this to almost physically exist in some fashion, right? I want to be able to make other people experience some part of this. It was just inspiring. I don't know. I have no idea why or anything like that. And unfortunately, I don't have a $1 million budget to create an aliens, another alien movie that you know, is faithful and then has my random fucking scene in it that is basically just a fever dream. You know what would be crazy though? If that ended up being a fucking scene in some fashion in the new Alien movie that's coming out. Holy fuck, man. I'd be praised as like a god or something. Either that or some dude who just had a very fucking bizarre case of future sight. That's a normal thing, right? Just having future sight just randomly? Yeah, it seems normal. I see nothing wrong with it. Nothing weird about it. I'm not gonna go in there. I'm gonna pop this though. Yeah, it's actually quite good. Alright. Dame, I need you to stop giving me motherfucking spacebar items. I believe I've seen 4 times more spacebar items than non-spacebar items in the course of this week of just doing, you know, random runs, one with each character, right? I think I've actually just straight up seen far more spacebar items than not. And that's starting to piss me off, because I really hate spacebar items in general. Again, would have been great to, you know, some of the spacebar items would have been great to have them on some of the runs. But at the same time, I was also getting, you know, Butterbean D4 on a few characters that already had spacebar items and shit, and it was just a waste of time. But you know what, game? I respect it. I respect you being ballsy. You know what, that makes me think. I wonder if anybody's offended by the notion of, you know, being ballsy. Like, does that... I'm sure it offends somebody, but has anybody, like, verbalized that ridiculous offense? Because I'll tell you right now, I can already think of a fucking counter-argument. Well, depending on the context, I guess. But if you're using in the context of, like, business, right? It's literally an observable truth that more often than women will negotiate things like pay rate and stuff like that in the workplace. So when an employer would say something like, "I like you, you got balls," you know, that's more of just like a compliment in the work world than it is saying like, masculinity is better than femininity. Yeah! Go men! But oh well. Again, I haven't heard of anybody actually getting offended by it, so. But now that I brought it up, I'm sure somebody will. That's how it works. This shit can just fly under the radar of the PC police, and then once it's brought up, they're like, how is nobody talking about this with, like, you know, 15 misspelled words, even though there's, like, not even 15 words in that statement, with alternating caps occasionally, and then, like, 6 question marks with a space bar, a space just, like, thrown into the middle of the question marks. Listen, guys, I could make a pretty good Tumblerina, alright? I really could. I know all the secrets, all the ins and outs, all the little tricks. That's actually one of the things I've never understood. It's such a fucking Tumblr thing, and it's not just like an SJW Tumblr thing. It's literally just like part of Tumblr culture, and I never understood it. the whole thing is like, you know, you're making a statement that you're like excited about, right? In a text-based form where there's no benefit to putting it out sooner, right? It's not like it's going anywhere. It's not like this experience is going to cease existing if you take the 30 extra seconds to proofread, right? So it's clearly intentional. The whole misspelling shit, right? And I don't get it. Like, you're trying to show, like, I'm so overcome with excitement that I've forgotten how to fucking type coherent sentences in the language, the only language I speak. Just fucking type it, you dummy. God damn. Like, shit, dude. Fuck. Oh, whoops. I didn't realize I was already guppy. Oh, because of the head that... Oh, sure. Alright. Well, now I have collar as well. But, like, there's no reason, you know, in a text post on the internet that is not timing specific for there to be misspelled words or, you know, horrible use of grammar or excessive pointless punctuation for any reason aside from intentionally. But why would you intentionally do any of that shit aside from you want to make yourself look like a fucking dimwit? I don't understand. Like, I've personally intentionally misspelled shit before, like making a Twitter post, but it's part of like a joke. It's not just like I'm literally screaming "ee" with like 3 exclamation points, space, space, exclamation point, space, exclamation, 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 right? With, like, of course, before the exclamation, the E is literally you just held the shift key, hit the E key, and held that shit down for like a solid 30 seconds, right? Like, what's the purpose? You could just say, holy fuck, I'm so excited for this thing. This is crazy, right? That gets tone across pretty well. I don't think you need to misspell shit or, you know, say, I'm literally screaming, when in reality you're quietly. Here, let me grab a bonus keyboard so I can tippity tap away on it without making Isaac freak the fuck out. So you're like typing out. Right? Like, that's what you're doing. But in the post, literally you're just silently sitting in your room typing, right? But then in the post you're like, I'm literally screaming, right? And you're not literally screaming. That's not how that word works. Like, you're using that word, but that's not the meaning of it. So you're not literally screaming, nor I don't even know. I don't get it. I just don't get it. You can get tone across without also just looking like a bumbling buffoon who's never learned your own goddamn language, you know? It's not necessary to look like a fuckwit when you're excited. Being excited doesn't make you retarded. So, just want to throw that one out there. Well, maybe. No, it literally wouldn't. That's the correct use of the word literally, by the way. Oh, and I also, the other thing I hate, kind of relating to that, which is where, like, the whole thing began with, like, the, you know, the punctuation being, like, excessive punctuation in weird ways that makes no goddamn sense and isn't, like, how you use punctuation at all. Like, it's just not a way to use punctuation. So you do, like, you know, 4 question marks in a row, space, 1 question mark, space, 3 question marks, right? Like, when asking a question, right? Except it's not accompanied with an actual question. It's more like you say, you know, something, first of all, you'd say something like stereotypical and bigoted, right? And then you'd follow that up by saying, like, and then the question marks, right? Like, that's what you would do. And I'm like, what the fuck does this mean? I don't speak stupid. I don't know. Like, I actually did see, I literally saw a Tumblr post. Again, correct use of the word literally. I literally saw a Tumblr post that says something along the lines of, oh god, what was it? I think the person said, oh shit, fuck, what was it? It had something to do with, like, excessively, some white dude being excessively hetero, right? Like, it was something along those lines. And it was, the thing was like, wearing shorts in the middle of winter. And then she ended the post, assuming she, because she was, of course, being quite sexist to men as well as, you know, bigoted towards heterosexual humans in general, specifically heterosexual men. Anyway, and so she concluded this post with it being like, I think it was, oh god, what did she say? I think she said, like, it's December, like, and then that thing, you know, that abomination of punctuation. It's December, like, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, space, question mark, question mark, question mark, space, space, question mark, you know? It just doesn't make sense. I don't get it. I just don't. Maybe I'm out of touch. Maybe I don't get this generation. The wrong generation or something. You know? I don't know. Also, the amount of posts that are on Tumblr that, like, clearly don't understand, like, anything pertaining to how people act, and, well, like, how stereotypes even work, I guess. Like, if you're gonna be bigoted against people based on stereotypes or whatever, at least use some, like, stereotypes that are somewhat based in reality, you know? Don't be like, man, straight boys just annoy me. Always jumping up and slapping the crossbar above a door between classes. And I'm like, is that a straight thing? Or is that just like a thing people do when they're fucking bored out of their goddamn mind because they're in high school? I don't think that's a straight thing. I mean, you could probably assume that a large percentage of the people doing it are straight because, I mean, you know, there's a very large amount of people that exist in the world that are straight. That's just a fact. I actually don't remember the figure. I mean, it's probably, like, absurdly high, though. I mean, it almost literally has to be because, you know, something furthering the human race, etc. But yeah, like, yeah, you could probably, it's probably a safe assumption to say that guy that in between classes jumped up and hit the bar at the top of the door, it's probably a safe bet to say he was straight. But I don't think that's a straight thing. I don't think that's a straight stereotype, a heterosexual stereotype. I don't know. But maybe that's just because I'm, you know, a cishet white male shitlord, so. I don't know. Like, why not say something like, you know, whites can't dance? Like, that's, I mean, that's a stereotype, but let's be reasonable here. I've never known, in my life, personally, I've never known a single person who is white and can also dance. So, I mean, I've never really known anybody that ever wants to dance, which is fortunate because I'm also not a person who ever wants to dance. So that's nice. I mean, that's beneficial, right? I don't have to deal with that part of, I guess, human behavior. So that's cool. But you know, at least use some stereotypes that are somewhat based in reality. I mean, sure, basing your opinions on people based on stereotypes is unreasonable. Basing your opinions on a singular person, on an individual based on stereotypes, is even more unreasonable. But let's be realistic here. Most stereotypes exist for a goddamn reason, okay? It's not like they just were thought up one day, like, wouldn't this be a hilarious thing to alienate a group of people with? Haha, that'd be so funny. No, I mean, it comes from somewhere. Anyway, that was a cool run. Shockingly cool. I didn't do Mega Satan. Whoops. I apologize for that. I'm sidetracked. I'm scatterbrained. It's alright. I'm always scatterbrained. It's a problem I have. I have a very scattered brain. Maybe that could explain my dreams. I just don't have any coherent thought process, so my subconscious, when my brain turns off, not when my brain turns off, when my body turns off, and my brain's like, hey, what should we watch today? It looks at like my memories and my experiences and stuff like that, and it's like, shit, fuck, what the fuck why is there, what's that? No, what the fuck, why is that there? Oh, shit. And it has to do like this horrible, like, you know, cleaning, this spring cleaning bullshit in my brain. Actually, that is one interesting thing. Like, why do we dream? And a lot of people think, I don't think there's any super accepted reasoning for why we actually dream. But one of the more popular ones that I have heard of, and I personally think is most likely the case, is the fact that it's essentially like it's finishing the learning process of things that are in short-term memory, you know? So experiences and feelings you have during the day are logged into your short-term, and then like the whole dreaming process is you're like peeking behind the curtain, if you will, of them getting moved to the long term. So you're previewing essentially emotions that were created based on your experiences, which is why a lot of stuff, a lot of like psychological stuff can actually be figured out about a person from their dreams. Like if somebody has dreams about being chased or falling or whatever, that normally means that they have like they had like a negative, specifically like I think anxiety is one of the more common explanations for that during the day, right? So it'd be like a situation where I don't know, they got fired, and then that night after they got fired, their dream is about like them getting chased down with a knife by their boss or something like that, right? That's the sort of kind of thing that happens in dreams sometimes. But other times it's just like, what the fuck is a xenomorph doing? Why did his chin fall off? Why is he tiny now? Why did he grow and then snap a dude's spine in half? I don't understand what's going on here, right? It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. But anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed that episode. If you did, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe and comment and do all that good shit, and I will see you guys tomorrow in the next episode.